Hello and welcome to the Pybites podcast, where we talk about Python, career, and mindset. We're your hosts. I'm Julian Sequeira.
And I am Bob Beldebos. If you're looking to improve your Python, your career, and learn the mindset for success, this is the podcast for you. Let's get started. Welcome back, everybody. This is Bob Beldebos here with Julian Sequeira on the Pybites podcast. I never said your name, right? I want to have that on recording. Did I say it well?
Thank you. You said it fine. It's perfect. Thanks.
Sequeira. Portuguese.
Hey,
vibe.
man.
Hey, man. How you doing?
It's good. It's good to be back. I'm good.
Are we taping?
We are recording. It's been
Okay.
How long has it been?
2 years. Like
Feels
you
like it.
you had a bit of a sickness situation, then you went for not a honeymoon, but honeymoon kind of lengthy trip.
Yeah, went for a month, about 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah, I think I've been offline for almost 5 weeks. It's a ridiculous amount of time, but
Crazy, man.
lots
Well,
of
you
fun.
survived. You're here. So welcome back.
Yes, I can't believe how long it's been since I recorded an episode with you. It's good to it's surreal, but it's also good to be back.
Yeah, amazing guest. But yeah, I think it has been 4 or 5 episodes at the least we haven't ever recorded together. So
Wow,
feels weird. Yeah.
Can't let that happen again. Well, I mean, this is for a good reason, but still.
Maybe you want to reintroduce yourself to our audience. Audience, this is Julian Sequeira,
I'm Julian,
co-founder of Pybites.
I think that'll do. That'll do. All right, we're gonna keep this kind of quick. We got a couple of things to talk about. I'm going to bring up. I'm going to dominate this one because Bob's had the microphone for the past month and a bit. But
we'll see about that. But yeah, sure.
We'll see. All right, quick wins. What's your win for this week?
I picked up language learning / French, and I just had my second italki class with my teacher Bryce, and went well. So really cool.
Nice.
Deliberate practice. Just
That's cool.
speak it, make mistakes. It's very similar to coding. So we have an article. We can link an article. But yeah,
we're gonna have an episode about this.
I think so. Yeah, we'd rather do an episode on this. Yeah, we should.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's pretty conversational, right? The way that you're learning.
Yeah, you can take very grammar-like classes, but that's boring. But this is just conversation and just messing up, trying to speak and be corrected. You know, it's highly effective. That's how I learned Spanish as well, and it really works. And it's the same with coding, right? You have to code, make mistakes.
So like coaching perhaps.
Yeah, that's similar to our approach, right? Yeah. What about you?
I love it. My win is what I'm going to talk about this episode. So it's a nice nice segue. I had the 5 weeks off. Aside from being sick, I should say, 4 weeks then. But I was very lucky. I was able to take a month off to go to Canada with my wife and kids and visit her family because she's from Canada. And we spent a full month there. We got to hang out with her family. We got to see my cousin, meet my godson for the first time, all sorts of cool things. And it's just one massive win. But there's just a quick thing, Bob, before we jump into some of the lessons learned from this trip. I actually want to give a quick shout out to 3 people. So first and foremost, I want a shout out to my cousin, Sabrina, who'll be listening, and my brother-in-law, Scott, who'll also be listening to this, because both of them, as soon as they found out I had a podcast, pulled out their phones and quickly subscribed to the podcast. So they'll get a shout out. But also a shout out to you, man, and I have a special maple, Canadian maple drink that may or may not be alcoholic. Can't confirm or deny it. To say cheers to you, because I could not have had such a relaxing time away if it wasn't for you. So just everyone give me 1 second, humor me while I sip this beverage of unknown origin.
People tune into YouTube. You can actually see this. Yeah.
It for some reason it's quite warm in the chest as I drink it. But anyway, so yeah, if it wasn't for you, man, I wouldn't have been able to switch off 100%. You know, as you can imagine, everyone it's easy to leave the work laptop at home, right? You just leave it at home, you switch off, you disappear. But when you have your own child of a business and you run your own company, you kind of you bring that laptop with you, and you don't want to completely switch off. No part of me wanted to in that respect, but because of this man who completely handled everything, so I didn't have to touch a thing, I was able to really switch off. And excuse me, that stuff really. But as a result, there were some lessons learned from this. Do you mind if I jump in, Bob?
Yeah, man, you take it, and my pleasure, by the way. I'm tearing up here. No, all good, man, all good, and that's what we do.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
also
man.
shout out to the team, right? Like they were doing a lot of things as well, and so they on their turn made my life easier as well. So
Yeah, there you
has to
go.
be said. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice coming back and seeing that, everything was still happening, right? People were still being coached. The CV reviews are happening, and LinkedIn reviews, and all sorts of things still plugging away. So it was really nice to see the the gears still turning, even if I disappear for a little bit. So that's nice. But yeah, as I dive into this, I think the biggest thing I wanted to share with everyone and just remind everyone is that it's very easy not to take a holiday. It's very easy not to switch off. And that was a trap I fell into. So I haven't had a proper holiday like this where I've been able to switch off and disappear and it has to be for at least a week, right? It's not good enough to just go somewhere for 4 days for a long weekend. It's not enough. That might be enough to just avoid burnout or decompress a little bit, but to really get the benefit of it has to be longer than a week. I'd say 2 weeks at a minimum if you can manage it. So I was very fortunate to take the 4 weeks, and not having any distractions from work or Pybites in the form of having to be switched on. It just allowed me to free up my mind, and so many different realizations came from that, which I don't think I would have had with that level of clarity if I hadn't switched off. So my encouragement for everyone is disappear, do what you can, because for me, it had been 10 years, a whole decade since I took a trip like this and really allowed myself to switch off and disappear. Funnily enough, it was to the same place. It was still to Canada. And for those of you wondering, by the way, we were on the eastern side of Canada in Ontario. That's where we went for the majority of the trip. But Bob, what I wanted to really talk about and share about this was there were things I thought about a lot on this trip. And like I said, there was clarity of purpose as a result. So, I think it's pretty obvious what I'm going to say here, but Pybites was at the top of mind. I thought about it a lot. I thought about you a lot, man. No, I'm kidding. I didn't think about you much. I'm lying. There were audio messages for going back and forth still from you, waiting for messages from me. But with Pybites there as top of mind, it really showed me that that's my goal. That's where I want to be. That's the be all and end all for me. And if it wasn't there, if it wasn't top of mind, I actually think I'd be sitting there thinking to myself, what am I doing? Or what's next for us? What are we going to work on next? But because I was sitting there thinking about the business, it was nice to have that comforting realization that, hey, this is what I want to do, right? So I want everyone to really think about that. If you can take that time away for 2 weeks and disappear and relax and enjoy yourself and really disconnect from the work itself, you'll find yourself doing some self-reflection on, well, what does mean a lot to you, right? So the things that gave me energy on this trip, to get through 30 days in the different time zone, different country where they drive on the wrong side of the road.
Right side of the road.
Yeah. Wrong side of the road. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Was aside from things, the things that I hold dear to me, like family time, right? Spending time with the family, those things always gave me energy. But thinking about Pybites and being able to do planning for us and think of ideas and new courses and new things to develop for the two of us really filled me with energy. We were sitting on the train from Ottawa to Quebec, a 6-hour train ride, something like that. And I pulled out the laptop and just started writing, and I had no issue with that. I was finished this. Everyone's like, geez, what were you writing, a book? And I was just writing. My mind was just going a million miles an hour because I was in this diffused state of just being able to separate myself from the work. So it was all planning thoughts. It was all business ideas. It was all growth things, not actual in the work stuff like writing emails. So yeah, when you get these switch off moments for a long period of time, you'll find that your mind just takes you different places, and you're able to really think big because you're not in the work. So you can work on the business as a whole, or whatever it is that your goals are. So
yeah, and I think in your case it's the business, right? But I think to drive down for the audience, like replace business with career, right? Like if you're too tied up in a job, then you're not thinking about your career long term, right? So if you step back, it's also like one step back to go 2-3 steps forward, right? Like you might just be doing something that's not valuable or not giving you that fulfillment, right? So
yeah,
when you say business, I would say for people, career, right? Like what's in it for your longer term career?
Well, I think a lot of you listening take that second, and you may not like what you see. Take those 2 weeks, because if you disappear from your day job and at the end of your 2-week holiday or 1-month holiday, you realize I haven't thought about it once. Not a single part of what I do every day at that company or whatever fills me with joy or energy. Not a single, I don't want to go back to it. Not a single part of me wants to go back to it on a Monday. If that's the case, you're in the wrong job. You're doing the wrong thing with your time, and it's a harsh truth, right? And probably more people are going to find themselves in that situation than not. So it's a bitter pill to swallow sometimes, but it might be time for a change, and that's also exciting in itself. So give yourself that break if you can. Think about what's coming up. I think in North America, we got Thanksgiving coming up in 2-3 months or something like that. So, maybe that's the time to take it, disappear, take a whole extra 2 weeks on top of it, and do some self-reflection, spend some time on things you enjoy.
Yeah, it has to be at least 1 week, right, for this to kick in. Just a
weekend
doesn't.
I would say enough. At least 2 weeks, right? 1 week is barely enough to disconnect from the job, and the stuff that you do. 2 weeks, I found myself on a boat. I found myself kayaking on a lake, not even thinking about it. I was a million miles away, so I reckon 2 weeks to really get to this point.
Right. So you said about a million miles an hour, ideas, things to build. Any hints on what's to come?
No.
Damn it.
So there's a course Bob and I are building, and we don't build courses lightly, right? So these things we don't want people jumping into imposter syndrome. But the idea here is we're building something that's going to be quick, digestible, but on a huge topic, something that's really going to help people. And we're very excited. We're going to start building that this week. So I wrote down the curriculum for it on the plane. As soon as I got off the plane, I pasted it into WhatsApp for you. So,
machine.
We're going to review that, extend it out, expand it, whatever we have to do to that curriculum over the next 2 days, and then start building on Friday, and hopefully have that done in a week. Set ourselves a bit of a deadline.
Yep. Awesome.
Very exciting. So that's going to be good. And then obviously I was thinking about the veteran program that I'm kicking off as well. If that piques your curiosity, definitely send me an email, Julian at Pybites or info@Pybites, and we can chat about it. But that's something I'm very passionate about and excited about.
And more coaching.
And more coaching. Yes. More different kinds of coaching coming up as well. The last thing I just wanted to say is that what's nice about disconnecting like that is that you don't have to operate to any deadlines. If you're really on holiday, there are no deadlines, and other than the holiday ending. So definitely take that break. Allow yourself to do things that just take as much time as they take. And relax that way. I think that's a very important one. So quickly, Bob, I was just going to say my favorite part of the trip. It
Sure.
was I honestly I don't know. There were so many awesome things that we did. Like we went to Quebec City. I did lots of driving. I was able to drive almost 1,000 kilometers on the incorrect side of the road, which is their correct side of the road. I went to my sister-in-law's wedding. I met up with my cousin for the first time in 14 years. Just all sorts of amazing things. So I don't know. I think my favorite thing was the people, just meeting all these family members, spending quality time with them. Probably the most exciting thing I did was I emceed the wedding. So I was the guy standing at the front talking to a whole room of strangers. I only knew about 1/4 of the people in the room. But I successfully emceed the wedding, got great feedback, got a bunch of laughs. It was perfect timing that Australia beat Canada in the Women's FIFA World Cup a couple of days before the wedding. So I got to drive that point home a little bit, got a lot of boos and cheers for that one. But yeah, it was good. The trip overall was fantastic. And I'd say that was one of the highlights.
Awesome, man. Happy to hear. And thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah, no worries. And thanks everyone for
inspirational.
listening. It's just I'm so energized coming back from this trip. So lots of stuff coming. We have lots of energy coming in the next few podcast episodes as well. Ideas and products and different things for all of you listening. So we're very, very, very excited. We've been exchanging WhatsApp messages since Thursday, like two excited school kids, which is which is a good sign.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if kids are too excited this time of the year to go back to school in the northern hemisphere. So,
oh yeah, that's rough. That's rough. But yeah. Oh, and speaking of travel, I might be going down to visit Bob in 2 months.
Yep. Touring through Spain.
Yeah, tour through Spain and maybe another country that shall not be named yet. But that's going to be exciting. If we do that, you're not going to hear from us.
You're going to hear from us on the road.
Yeah, we'll be on the road. Probably get some special YouTube videos happening. Maybe a podcast recorded from our phones on the beach somewhere. Who knows? But we're going to have a good time.
Julian to speak Spanish.
Yeah, that is not happening.
That is happening. Yeah.
I bet he's. Oh, that's strong. I bet he's going to record it. He's going to take some videos of me trying to speak Spanish, asking for something.
Definitely.
Guarantee it. All right. So that's enough of me rambling and yapping. Tell me, what are you reading at the moment before we wrap it up?
Deep work again, because I'm reorganizing my schedule. I finished Siddhartha, which is a great novel by Herman Hesse. That's it for now. Yeah. You? You got me on the fiction, so I'm.
You read some of the best stuff. Yeah. So I'm reading a book that thanks to you, because you pointed out the Tim Ferriss podcast episode with Seth Godin a couple of weeks ago, and I listened to it, instantly blown away. Seth helped. Yeah, he helped curate a book called The Carbon Almanac, and it's all about climate change and the effects of carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases, all that sort of climate change stuff, and what we can do, and what I've really enjoyed about it. So I bought it while I was in Canada, and this thing's a tome, weighs a ton, and I was like, oh god, I got to carry this back in my suitcase. So I put it in my backpack instead with my laptop. But the thing that I love about it is it debunks a lot of myths that I hear from a lot of people. So I'm obviously very passionate about this topic, but also it fills you with hope. Even though it is a dire situation, gives you a lot of tips on what you can realistically do as an individual, and that you actually have more ability than you think to make some change in this space. So I'm very excited about what is going to come from this book, from just in my personal hemisphere. So
does it also address wood cutting.
What do you mean?
Because I thought I ordered it. Thought I was going to get some small booklet. I can get the shoe stomach. There's a lot of paper in there. That would be ironic.
I am hoping this thing was made with recycled paper.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was bigger than I expected.
Yeah. I know. When I saw it in the shop, I was like, oh, this thing is like, well, we just knocked my microphone. This thing is about this big, like it's huge. So, yeah, hopefully it does talk about recycled paper in the book and how much less energy it takes, all that stuff. So I thought, oh, hopefully, you'd hope so. The irony.
Yeah, I would ask you about a couple of takeaways, but yeah, maybe it's nice to do a dedicated one to that.
Yeah, we could do that as just a fun podcast episode, non-Python related. Yeah. Just an overview of what we learned because we care about it. Right, that's something we're passionate about. So,
yeah,
that's what we're.
Another one I want to do is Stoicism.
Yeah, that's right. Based on your amazing Stoicism or Stoic mindset call. So there you go, everyone. Bob covered for me the mindset calls in the PDM program. He
I hijacked.
took a couple. Yeah, same with Hugh Tipping, one of our coaches. So thank you both for your support. So I didn't have to sign in at some random time to take those calls. But yeah, your Stoicism episode or call was awesome. So we'll definitely.
It can really help us developers, right? So I think we should distill some of the lessons. Yeah,
for sure, without a doubt. All right,
cool.
That's it. Well, everyone and Bob, thank you. Everyone, thank you for letting me just talk about this trip a bit and my lessons learned from that. We'll be back to our regular programming next week. Although we might have a bonus episode where I just talk about my observations of Canada.
We might not.
I might just put that straight on YouTube. Maybe it won't make it on the podcast. Maybe we just put it on the channel on YouTube. It's a bit tongue in cheek. Guarantee
put it on YouTube, mate.
Yeah, we'll put it on YouTube. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening, and it's good to be back. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in every week, and as always. If you have preferences, needs, just let us know. We're happy to record the episodes based on your needs and preferences.
Beautiful. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Bob.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye. We hope you enjoyed this episode. To hear more from us, go to Pybites/friends. That is pybit.es/friends and receive a free gift just for being a friend of the show.
And to join our thriving Slack community of Python programmers, go to Pybites/community. That's pybit.es/community. We hope to see you there and catch you in the next episode.